Greetings. I'm doing this from inside the house and I'm doing it while I'm walking. I'm doing that because I like to go outside during this time of year and walk. A lot of times at the lake, almost most of the times at the lake, sometimes just around the neighborhood. But it's raining outside. So I'm doing it on the inside. And, there are those times where we all need to adjust something to get what we need to get done. For instance, I'm also holding this with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, because some of you may know I've had shoulder surgery. I'm 3 months in and I still can't lift my arm above my waist, which meant I couldn't shoot this with my right hand. I just couldn't do it. So here we are. And I talked about how we have to make adjustments every once in a while. And I'm going to use my mother, if you don't mind, as an example of how this works and how it can actually mess other people up. So my mother is at a rehab facility right now. She had an issue back in March and she had to go to the hospital for it. Got cured for that, got out, went to a rehab facility, came home, was not right. Rehab facility messed up, ended back up in the emergency room, and now she's at a different facility. And the strange thing is both facilities had the same issue, at least initially, but they handled it different, and I got to handle it different. For instance, at the first place she went to, it was basically 2 weeks before they asked me to come in and show them how to get my mother out of bed because they had no idea how to get her out of bed. So in essence, the first 2 weeks there, she just laid in bed. And I'm thinking, well, wait, y'all are trained professionals. How do you not know how to get her out of bed? The second place that happened for the first couple of days, and then they called me and I told them what to do. And then they've been able to get her out of bed because they listened and they actually looked at the medical record, which the other people didn't do, to see what I said to do. Sometimes that's what you need. But here's how I messed them up. My mother's been here for 4 years. And before she moved here with me, living in her own house, she basically spent the last 3 years sleeping downstairs in the living room, on the couch, or in her recliner because she didn't like sleeping in the bed. I understand that because I don't sleep well in the bed, but unfortunately I can't sleep on a recliner because I just have difficulties falling asleep and staying asleep on my back. So I thought about it for the longest while, and it took me, I'll say maybe a year and a half before I realized it's time to get her reclining lift chair to sleep in. And I came to that decision because what would happen is mom wasn't sleeping during the night, but then when I'd get her up in the morning and bring her into the living room and put her in a reclining lift chair, she would basically fall asleep after she ate breakfast and sometimes sleep for 2 or 3 hours. So I said, let me try an experiment. So the experiment was a couple of nights, I would bring her back out of the bedroom around midnight and put her in a reclining lift chair and see what happened. And she was sleeping well. So I bought another reclining lift chair for the bedroom, and that's what she sleeps in. So it's easy for me to get her up because truthfully, when she was in the bed, she was hard to get out of the bed. Mom had no arm strength, so she couldn't help me, so it was all on me. And I had to do it kind of sneakily because if she knew it was coming, then she would start laying back, and the further back she sat or laid, the harder it was to get her up. So I would have to kind of distract her a little bit, and then I had to yank her up. And of course, that was going to take a toll on me at one point or another. A couple of times, my arm really wasn't happy about that. So buying the reclining lift chairs were perfect for me. They helped a lot. But it turns out that at rehab facilities for, folks like my mother, which are almost always done at nursing homes, where they have an area for people who are basically outpatient rather than residents there, they don't have reclining lift chairs. And I spoke to the head of one of the places who said to me, we don't have those because our residents will sometimes forget how it works and they end up falling out of the chair once it stands them up because they don't know what to do. So we decided that wasn't the way to go. Okay, I can understand that. But at the first facility, it turns out that the people who were taking care of mom had no idea what a reclining lift chair was, so they had no idea how to get her out of bed. Whereas at least at the other place, they knew what it was, and I gave them an idea of how they could get her up and get her moving, and they took that on. So I thought, okay, that worked out well. And here's the thing. Just because something was a solution for you and it worked does not mean that it's going to work for everybody or that everybody can duplicate it. If nursing home or rehab facilities don't have reclining lift chairs, they can't do things exactly the same way I did. But see, it's my solution because I'm by myself. However, these folks, they're professionals. They need to figure out their own solutions for how to handle things. That's what we all do in business. That's the reason that, luckily, I'm a consultant, because I don't go into a place thinking I'm going to do things their way. I like to evaluate everything. I like to ask a lot of questions because that's just the way you get things done. That's the way that you improve and you move forward. If you can't do that, then you're going to fail. And you're going to fail if you're a director or a CEO or a supervisor. Doesn't matter. If you don't know how to find your solution that you might not be able to use anywhere else, but it works and it always works and it doesn't hurt anything else, it's the smart way to go. Anyway, I'm stopping here because, frankly, I'm confused by looking at my phone and walking in the house. I've done this often on my other channel, but I hope that I haven't lost anybody here. We'll find out. My name is Mitch Mitchell. I hope y'all have a wonderful week.